surrounded by the Soggy Bottom Bunch here. And I'm just waiting for the live to pop up on my computer so that I can see what I'm doing. Yes, because I have my phone reversed as always. It's stuck on, if I do the front camera, everything is flopped reverse. So I have to use the back camera so I can't watch what I'm doing. I know, I say that every time. Anyway, I'm waiting for myself to pop up on the computer. There's a little bit of a lag. Oh, there I am. Okay, I'm clicking on me now. And I can see what's going on. I'm a few minutes early, and that's okay. I can just, I gotta set up. I gotta get settled. I gotta get my tea. I'm making a mess. Yes, I am. I'm making a mess here. Welcome, welcome, gentle listeners and gentle replayers. This is going to be about an hour long. Yes, about an hour long. And we're going to do a little bit of chatting. And I'm going to make a big announcement about my live guest for next week. Yes, next Tuesday's author tea. This might become a regular thing. I know. I can find some more guests to come too, I bet you. I've got my little notepad here. I take notes, not that it helps. I take notes. Oh, that note goes over there. Okay. And this was last week, and I did have a pen here a minute ago. Here it is, behind the tea box. Oh, Linda Burton's here. You're early, Linda. So am I. Yes, so am I. Howdy, howdy, and welcome, welcome, Linda B. Yes. She's got the #1 crown already. Yes, she's the first one here. Well, I'm just sort of setting up. Yes, it takes me a few minutes, you know that. And I was just explaining how the phone is flipped backwards so that everything I show will be frontwards. And I gotta see the angle. What? Oh, you can see my whole mess back in the corner. Oh, that's awesome. Yes. That's awesome. Okay, you can see all the trolls. You can see my mess back in the corner. I'm having the same tea, green tea with elderberry and vitamin C. It was so yummy. I'm going to have it again. What's today? I'm going to write this down. October 7th, in case I need to take some notes. I appreciate you coming in early, Linda. I'm going to pour myself a little bit of tea. I need to crochet a tea cozy for this teapot. I'm going to make clothes for these two trolls over here. Well, at Soggy Bottom, clothing is optional. Yes, clothing is optional, as you can see. I'm going to make them some skirts with some tulle, and I was thinking, oh, Trisha's here, sneaking up on me, LOL. Oh, I just popped in a minute early. Yes, I'm just chatting with Linda. Chatting here with Linda, setting myself up, yes. Doesn't make me feel so bad about my mess, says Linda. Well, I'm just working on a few projects all at one time, and I have another mess back here behind me. The pile's up this high, and that's the tulle and things that I'm going to use for the trolls, and the bling bling for the dancing frogs, and the brushos. Yes, the brushos, because I'm having so much fun with them. Yeah, so when Mr. Possum walks in and sees all the stuff across the floor, I just say, don't mind the mess, I'm cleaning. I'm cleaning. There's always a mess when I clean. Still hot, but I need to make a cozy. I need to make a teapot cozy. Keep that warm while we're chatting. Yes. I figured about an hour or so should be enough, right? I just want to talk about my special guest for next week and maybe do a little bit of a reading. I should wait until 7. It's almost 7 o'clock. Yeah. For a few more peeps maybe to pop in, because I'd like to get your opinion on a few things. Well, Linda and Trish, since you're here right now, I was thinking about going back. Now, last week, a lot of people, I'm talking to everybody out there now, a lot of people were here during the live. There's the bird clock. And or maybe you caught the replay. Maybe you caught the replay. And I really focused on Wilson's story. And we left him going off into the ferns, right? So if you want to hear the first part of Wilson's story, it's a couple weeks ago. And then the next part of Wilson's story is last week. Well, maybe I should link them below in the description after this gets uploaded again. Yes, I can do that. So I can continue with Wilson's story today. Or I was thinking about going back because, I left big chunks of the story out because I was just sort of plugging in some Wilson things. Bybie's story, yes, about Bybie's story, and a little bit more about what the fairies are doing. So, yes, I haven't made up my mind which one. So I thought maybe the first couple of possum peeps that popped in could give me their opinion. Do you want to hear more about Wilson, or should we go back and fill in some more of the story with Bybie and the fairies and all this other stuff that's going on? Yes. Karen popped in. Howdy, howdy, Karen. She says, howdy, Possum Patty, hugs and fairy dust blown at you. Yes, thank you. Thank you so much, Karen. Yes, we just started. I came on like 5 minutes early because, technology, you never know what's going to happen. You never know what's going to happen, right? And I'm having my elderberry tea. And I'll wait till some more folks pop in. Fill in more, a backstory on the fairies will help. Okay, I was thinking that because I was really focused on Wilson because he was just being my main protagonist, right? And he's on a journey and what he's going through, how he was at the beginning of the story and what happens to him and how it's going to change him, when we get to the very end of the story. So Karen says, fairies I love. Thank you, Karen. And yeah, so I kind of skipped this and that and everything, So I can go back to the beginning and read that first chapter again. And the second chapter, I'm forgetting what's in my... Oh, Christina's here. Oh, hi, Patty. Stopping in for a bit and happy to be here. Thank you, Christina. Well, here's my big announcement. Yes. I'll do it while Christina's here because I know she's got someplace to be tonight. Yes. Howdy, Becky. Howdy. She says, hey, everyone. Christina Lorenzen, I hope I said that correctly, Christina, is an author. She's written over a dozen books, right? 12, 13, how many books? And she's in the process of writing one now. And we're going to do a side-by-side live next Tuesday. I will be announcing this all week so you don't forget. So it's going to be me and Christina side-by-side. And she's going to tell you about her books, how she got ideas to write her books, what gives her ideas to write her books. And maybe she'll, show us some of the books that she's written. And you can ask her questions, right, Christina? Yes, she says yes. Yes. Okay, Karen saying howdy to Becky. Yes, so Christina, who's an author, who's in chat right now, yes, excited to chat, is going to be a live guest. We're going to do side-by-side live. It's going to be a different format. We're going to switch the camera up this way so we can both fit in there side-by-side. And she says, sure, happy to answer any questions. She's an author. She's written, like I said, a dozen books. And she might talk about her new book. Oh, but don't give it away, Christina, because it's special. It's special, yes. Don't give away the new one. I think she's writing a new book. Becky's saying howdy to Karen. So, yes, we're all so excited to have a special guest author next Tuesday, which is the 14th, right? I'm going to write that down in my notes because I'm trying to keep track of what I'm doing at each section. Oh, Christina says, okay, she'll keep quiet till next week because when she comes next week, I want her to talk about the new one. Yes, I don't want her to give it away in chat today. Jenny, howdy, howdy. I'm here gently listening. I definitely don't know how to write a book, but I sure can listen. LOL. I don't know how to write a book. I'm writing my first book. That's how you learn how to write a book, is you sit down and you write one. Right, Christina? Karen saying howdy to Jenny. So on October 14th, I'm going to be saying this over and over again because I want as many possum peeps as possible. I want a whole passel of possum peeps to come to the live next week. Yes, so that we can chat with Christina. So we're going to do a live with Christina. Yes, and we have plans. We have plans to practice that ahead of time as far as technology. Yes, as far as technology, because this will be my first live inviting a guest in. Now, I've been a guest on other folks' lives, and that's kind of easy. They send you a link and you click on it and you're in. So I'm going to be playing with Christina and the technology, and we'll get that all worked out ahead of time, and we will be set for next Tuesday, right? Right. Live with Christina. So I'm writing that down. That's for next week. Yay. And today, and excuse me, excited, says Karen. Blanket hellos to everybody from Trish. Howdy, howdy to everybody. So today I was thinking about, since we focused on Wilson so much the last couple of weeks, and I skipped over a part with the fairies and the little ladybug, that I would go back and maybe just do a reading. But there's one thing that cracks me up. So I need to like finagle things here for a moment. So when I do this, I can't see the chat, but that's okay. And one of the very first, I think, author teas that I did, and I was reading, and we were having fun with it. It was, we got hysterical. We got hysterical over this section in the book. And I know I didn't do this last week, and I'm just going to do one today, where I read like the first draft, and then I read like, not the final draft, but up to where I am now. Oh wait, I gotta, yeah, I gotta come back here. I was working on the section in chapter 11 that I left out. Yes, I was working on that before I started the live. So now I've got to go back to where this is. Back, because that's all the way back towards the beginning. Yeah, there's all kinds of things that go on with the fairies. And, okay, let me go back a minute. I think it's further back than that. Yes. Maybe. Where is it? Wow, it's way back. The Wayback Machine. We need the Wayback Machine. I think it's at the beginning of this chapter. Stand by. Stand by. Okay. Okay, here it is. Stranger. The point of what I'm doing right now is that in the previous live, I had read this chapter and everybody cracked up for the rest of the whole live, and we really like did not much else, okay, but laughed. And I'll go back and fill you into where this happened, but this is just funny, and I just want to go over this one little section because it caused so much laughter before. That, yeah, and this is Funtober, right? So, okay, so this is just, we're at the fairy's house, and it's the next morning, I believe, And yes, it's the next morning after the storm, and Ruthie Rose is going to go outside and look for some storm damage or whatever's going on outside. And this was my original, okay? The ornate brass scroll work on the front door flashed a wink at the sun as the door opened. Noting the groan of ancient hinges, Ruthie Rose pulled an oil can from a pocket in her apron and gave the hinges a quick lubricating. Then, with a purpose in her stride, she started off around the old tree stump into which the fairies had built their home. Well, after quick lubricating, we got nothing done. No, that just went on for quite a while, right? So I rewrote that and I added some, like sound effects in there and changed the wording, took out lubricating, took out quick lubricating. Yes, took out quick lubricating. Okay, now, excuse me. Okay, new version. Creak. The ornate brass skull work. I can't even say the word. Creak. The ornate brass scroll work on the front door caught the morning sun and flashed a playful wink as it opened. Noting the groan of ancient hinges, Ruthie Rose reached into a pocket of her apron and pulled out a tiny metal can. With a satisfying squirt, squirt, she quickly oiled the rusty hardware. The oil can disappeared into a pocket as Ruthie Rose stepped outside to greet the new day. With a purposeful stride, she made her way around the old gnarled oak stump into which the fairies had built their home. I took out quick lubricating. Yes, I did. Let me go back to chat. Take a break here for a second. Then we'll go back to the beginning of the story. We'll put Bybie on. There was one more thing. Okay. I don't see anything in the chat, so I'm going to go back. Thank you all for listening. There was one thing at the very beginning. So that was chapter 2. So I'm going to go back to chapter 1. And I'll see if I can watch the chat at the same time. Oh, so Nads had a comment about this part in an earlier T, okay? And the very first sentence of the story, the wind lashed wildly through the woods, driving sheets of rain hard against the leafless trees. And then the next paragraph, thud, thud, a young ladybug beetle flew hard against the sides of an overturned plastic cup. Once sheltered from the storm, the cup had upended in the wind and become her prison. Now, if anybody is close to where they can type on their phone or on their computer, I know some people watch on the TV and they can't do that, but she questioned driving sheets of rain hard against the leafless trees, and a young ladybug beetle flew hard against the sides of an overturned plastic cup. Now, I know better than to repeat things over and over like that because it gets kind of boring. But in this particular instance, I was going for a connection between the rain beating on the trees and the ladybug beating against the sides of the overturned cup. So, if anybody would like to help me out with that and put in a little comment, or if you're a gentle replayer or gentle listener, maybe you can come back later and put it in the comments below. I'll be sure to read them. Yes. So, does that work or does it not? Let me go over here. Okay. I don't see any comments. So, I will go back and just remember, if you can, to please comment on sheets of rain driving hard against the trees and the ladybug driving hard against the side of the cup. Does that connection work? Oh, plus, you know what? I'm a little bit of a lag here too. So, when you type a comment, it doesn't come up right away. So I'll come back. I'll come back to that in a minute. Think about that. Think about that. Trisha says Ladybug went bump right into the side of the cup. Yeah, but my idea was to connect it to the rain. So are you telling me that's not working? That I should just change it? I want to leave it. But if it's not working as a connector between the storm and so it's like we got this bad storm going on, and this ladybug is like, it's like a reflection, like the storm and the bug, their actions are reflecting each other. And that's why I wanted to leave it that way. But I'm getting 2 suggestions about changing the words. Yes. So I'll think about that. Yes, I'll think about that if you're telling me it's not working. Okay, back to the story. Thanks, Trish. Thanks, Karen. Oh, Karen said, I didn't read hers. Ladybug swooped into the cup, and Ladybug went bump right into the side of the cup. So I have 2 suggestions there. So I'll come back to that. Yes, I'll come back to that another time. So this is the very beginning of the story. Oh, wait, I've got to... Linda said she bounced off the cup that turned over and engaged her. Yes. So I got 3 people telling me different words to use. Okay, I'm going to go back and read the story. All right, so feel free to comment while I'm reading, and then I will hop back to chat as soon as I can. But I'm going to read the first part of the book, which I haven't read in a few weeks because I was focusing on Wilson. So that's what I'm going to do right now. Okay. Maybe I should have some water. Okay. Here we go. Here we go. I'll try to do a good reading. It's hard though. The wind lashed wildly through the woods, driving sheets of rain hard against the leafless trees. Thud, thud, a young ladybug beetle flew hard against the sides of an overturned plastic cup. Once sheltered from the storm, the cup had upended in the wind and become her prison. The storm did not let up, and neither did she. Her wings buzzed frantically as, again and again, she hit the side of the cup. Thud, thud, the cup did not move. When her battered and aching wings could no longer hold her up, she tumbled to the ground. Squish! She landed softly in the wet moss. She felt the cold rising water around her legs. With renewed effort, the little bug flung herself forward. No matter how hard she hit the cup, it only rocked in place. Rain drummed on the cup, sending vibrations throughout her body as she paced its curved edge. Water streaked the clear plastic, blurring the outside world. She froze. A face! Through the rain, friendly eyes blinked back at her. Gentle arms reached inside the cup, picked her up, and tucked her inside a warm, dry cloak. And then we got the elliptics there. So we get a little space, a little break there. The sound of raindrops on the roof of their little cottage was comforting for the 3 fairy sisters. Angela Rose sat in the warm glow of the stove with the rescued ladybug beetle nestled in her lap. Her healing hand soothed the trembling little bug. Together, they listened as a lilting tune about the coming of spring filled the room. Welcome, season of rebirth, thy sunlight warms the earth. Frozen ground turns to mud. Awake, ere leaf and flower bud. At the kitchen table, Maggie Rose sang as she worked, her voice rising and falling in rhythm with her hands gently kneading dough for scones. She folded in the last few dried blueberries, a touch of summer magic from the previous year's harvest. Her song ended just as her hands, covered in flour, formed the last wedge of dough and added it to the others on the baking stone. The rhythmic ringing of a hammer had supplied an underlying beat to Maggie Rose's song. Ruthie Rose was building a small, bug-sized wooden bed. A cushion sewn from scraps of fabric lay on the floor nearby. Concentrating on her work, Ruthie Rose failed to notice the locks of hair falling into her eyes. Yellow candlelight spilled through the kitchen window into the stormy evening. Striking a puddle near the garden gate, it revealed the silhouette of a tiny figure. A soft sigh, a sad sob, and a hiccup were lost to the sounds of the storm. The night pressed in, chillier now, and the sighs and sobs turned to gasps and gulps. Wah! A final desperate wail carried over the howling wind as the mysterious shadow of a creature collapsed into the mud. Angela Rose's pointy ears perked up. What was that? She asked, her eyes darting about the room, searching for someone needing help. It sounded like a cry. Without pausing, Ruthie Rose assured her sister, it's only the wind, emphasizing the word wind with the final strike of her hammer. Done, she declared as she pushed the loose strands of hair from her face and popped the hammer back into an apron pocket. She added, I believe one stormy rescue today is enough, even for you, dear sister. Angela Rose smiled, but there was still a worried look in her eyes. Cradling the little bug in her arms like a baby, she crossed the room to inspect her sister's handiwork. She announced as she went, her name is Bybie. A lovely name for a little lovable bug, responded Ruthie Rose as she placed a soft cushion filled with dried sphagnum moss inside the new bed. As Angela Rose settled Bybie down atop it, she asked, did you add some calming lavender and rose petals to it? Her sister nodded. In a questioning tone, Angela Rose suggested, maybe we should put it by the stove? With the little bug still inside, the two sisters lifted the bed and moved it towards the stove. Even though her wings and legs still throbbed, Bybie felt quite pleased with all the attention. Not too close now, admonished Maggie Rose as she put the scones in the oven. She wiped her arm across her forehead, leaving a smudge of flour. I wouldn't want the little one to burn herself. I'll put the kettle on, she added. We'll have a treat of blueberry scones with honey and a cup of mint tea. Bybie munched contentedly on crumbs, her tiny legs curled beneath her. From the vantage point of her little bed, she enjoyed the lingering smell of baked treats from the oven and the sound of the fairy sisters chatting over their bedtime snack. Maggie Rose and Angela Rose leaned in close over their garden map, excitedly swapping ideas about what to plant this year. Should we plant more peas? How about adding extra rows of sunflowers? Ruthie Rose quietly sketched in her nature notebook. After one thoughtful addition, she laid her pen down on the table and held the journal up. For you, Bybie. Bybie couldn't read the writing, but recognized the drawing. It was her. Her antenna wiggled with delight, and she smiled a shy little bug smile. Later that night, after the sisters were snugly tucked in, the soothing sounds of sleep came from only two of the beds. Angela Rose, fully awake, stared at the luminous stars on the ceiling, painted by Ruthie Rose using a special pigment borrowed from a firefly. A subtle tingling brushed over her skin as if she was walking through a spider's web. Someone was in trouble. She could feel it. As quietly as she could, Angela Rose pushed her quilt back and swung her bare feet to the floor. Her wings sparkled in the dim light, fluttering just enough to lift her onto her toes. Silent as a shadow, she tiptoed to the window. Was the rain letting up? A swirling mist curled around the cottage, veiling the night beyond. A brown moth damp wings spread wide, clung to the other side of the clear mica stone window pane. Angela Rose's keen eyes searched past the moth into the darkness to catch even the faintest flicker of movement. Nothing. She sighed and crept back to bed. She settled herself under the quilt, closed her eyes, and tried to still her worried mind. Sleep arrived as the storm departed. In the quiet night, Angela Rose tossed and turned in a restless slumber. The full moon smiled as the clouds drifted apart. Silver moonbeams streamed down upon the fairy's garden, encouraging the fireflies to begin their nightly dance. But instead of slowly rising to the treetops, the blinking lights gathered by the garden gate. This night, the insects' odd behavior could be explained by their interest in a certain mud puddle. The fireflies circled it slowly, yellow lights barely reflecting on the wet, dark mud. What was hidden just beneath the surface? Ooh. All right, that is the entire first chapter. Take a break. I might do chapter 2 too. Okay, going back. And you mean entrapped? Christina, time for me to go, but this was fun. Looking forward to our chat next Tuesday. Thanks, Pat. Thanks, Christina. I was reading, but thanks for coming by, and we'll see you all next Tuesday. Yes, we will. Okay, so that was chapter 1, and I'm taking a little break. I might go into chapter 2. Yeah, because I think, yes, because chapter 3 is Wilson's story. So I read 1. I'm going to do 2, and then 3 I did 2 teas ago. That was Wilson's, the first part of Wilson's story. Tricia says, wow, that's awesome. The grands love. Oh, are the grands here? Are they listening? Are the grands listening, Trish? Oh, thank you so much. I have an audience. It's good to get feedback, isn't it? Yes, it is. Yes. So if anybody wants to be critical, awesome-licious. Says Karen. Karen has so many licious words. Yes, yes, yes. Okay. So thank you so much. That was chapter 1. And we have plenty of time, so we're going to do chapter 2. Yeah. More about Bybee and the fairies, I think. And then 3 is all about Wilson. And then 4 is back when they grab Wilson. But there's more about Bybee in the other chapter, too. So we'll go back and do chapter 2 in a second. Just give me a chance to cough and drink tea. A chance to cough and drink tea, yes. So how's everybody doing this evening? Give my voice a break. Why don't you say a few words? Go right ahead. Thanks for popping in and chatting along. Linda said, I don't have any grands that live close, but I enjoy it. Thank you, Linda. Thank you. We are going to gentle listen while eating dinner. Thank you, Trish. Thank you for letting me know that you're going to be gentle listeners. Gone midnight here in London. Oh, Karen, is it that late? Oh, yes. Oh, yeah, because you're like, what, 5 hours? 5 hours, right? You're up late, Karen. Yes, you are. You're up late. Well, if you fall asleep, please come back and you can hear chapter 2 in a replay, okay? In the morning, yes. When you're fresh. When you're awake in the morning. No problem, no problem. Okay. A few more minutes. I'll go back and read chapter 2. And thank you all gentle listeners out there and gentle replayers. Chapter 2 coming up. And don't forget, next Tuesday live, 7 o'clock, special guest, Christina. I forgot. Oh, she didn't say, did she, in the chat? Yeah, it was 12 or 13 books, yes. Let's add a little more tea. A little more elderberry tea with vitamin C. It's still just a little bit warm. I hear Mr. Possum yawning in the background. We'll definitely be there. Yes, watching you will definitely be there, she says. Okay. Mm. Oh, it's good for the throat. It's good for the throat. Yes, it is. Okay. Did anybody see the big full moon last night? Says Linda. Yes, the harvest moon. Shine on, harvest moon. Got my special shirt on still. I might wear it all week. I got a shirt underneath. I changed the shirt that's underneath, but I wear this like a smock. So, I don't have to change it as often. Oh, I love to see the big full moon. Yes. Well, in Soggy Bottom, the trees are very close. So I have to watch the moon through the trees. But that makes it more interesting, right? Big moon with the dark shadow of the trees in front of it. And I set the camera out. The possum cam. I set the possum cam out. Annette, howdy, howdy. Welcome, welcome. I've been reading. Thanks for commenting. Thanks for popping in, saying howdy to everybody. Yes, I'm going to try and make this regular. Maybe not every week, but we're doing the author tea. I'm reading my story. I'm going to have guests, live guests that you could chat with, authors, people who want to write books. Yes, this just might become a regular thing. I think it's given me a lot of incentive to finish my story, which is almost finished. And just before the live, I was writing a scene in chapter 11 that I left out. You got to read and reread and reread, yes. And then I have to finish the very end of the story. Sometimes the ending's the hardest part. Got to wrap everything up. But because this is a series, I not only have to wrap up, get all the loops closed, I got to open up a loop that you have to read the next book to close. Esty Marie, howdy, Esty Marie. Yay, I made it to live. Hi, everyone. I know, so I'm doing the author tea lives in the evening, not journaling. We're talking about my book. And I know some people are, they work, they have jobs, they have a life. I know life happens, and you can't come to the journaling live, which is Fridays at noon. So switching it up, Tuesday night at 7. I'm going to try and continue this for a while. Keep me writing. Keep me writing. And yes, so, yes, you probably hear me talk about writing the book all the time. Oh, maybe you watched some of the author teas replay. And I focused on Wilson, the snail, for a couple weeks. And I will link those below, after this pops up as a replayable thing. And so you can go back and listen to parts of the story. I've been writing and rewriting, and sometimes I mention the first drafts, which are really funny, and then my rewrites, and sometimes I just read. And sometimes I ask people for ideas. And last week I gave away the big secret of the names. Yes, where I was getting the names for the story from and my inspiration. Oh, thank you. Annette says, thumbs up, please. Thank you. Thank you. Oh, I got to give myself a thumbs up. I forget to, because I'm watching myself on the computer, because I know I say this all the time. My phone's flipped around. Yes. So I can see myself, make sure the camera's still working, make sure I'm still here, and I can read the chat better on the computer. I'm going to go back now. We have a few new possum peeps here. And I read the entire first chapter. So if you just popped in, when this comes up as a replay, you can go back and hear the first chapter, because now I'm starting in with chapter 2. Okay. And while I'm reading, I can't see the chat because I got to close that and bring up my writing thing. You understand. Okay. Okay. So this is chapter 2. So the first chapter is actually called, what's it called? Storm. Okay. So you got the ladybug rescued from the storm. The storm is going on outside the window. Mysterious shadows out there. Okay. But then in the middle of the night, storm kind of, goes away. And yeah, the moon comes out, and chapter 1 ends with what was hidden just beneath the surface. Ooh, okay. That's the mystery. So chapter 2 is Stranger. And I read the beginning of this because the rewrite, the first draft was funny and everybody cracked up, and all we did was laugh about that for a half an hour in one of the very first lives. Yeah. I'm so glad you're here. Oh, Esta. Before I start reading, real quick, Esty Marie, did you watch the replay of last Friday's live? Because I printed out that picture of Possum Patty and Stinky Winky Woos and put it in the journal. Yeah, just so you know that the picture that you sent me, I printed it out and it's in the Possum Peep Treehouse journal. So you can go back and watch that live, okay? It's long, so you can kind of like fast forward until you see that part. I did it first. I did it at the beginning. I think that was the first thing I did. Yes, the first thing I did. Okay. This one's called Stranger. Creak. The ornate brass scrollwork on the front door caught the morning sun and flashed a playful wink as it opened. Noting the groan of ancient hinges, Ruthie Rose reached into a pocket of her apron and pulled out a tiny metal can. With a satisfying skirt, skirt, she quickly oiled the rusty hardware. The oil can disappeared into a pocket as Ruthie Rose stepped outside to greet the new day. With a purposeful stride, she made her way around the old gnarled oak stump into which the fairies had built their home. Ruthie Rose vigorously tugged at the honeysuckle vines growing up the sides and over the roof of the fairies' little cottage. She was checking them for storm damage, but she found something hopeful instead. Signs of spring, Ruthie Rose thought, noticing the tips of the branches held tiny green leaves unfurling from their protective winter shells. She pictured the vines with countless scarlet trumpets. She imagined the air alive with the pleasing buzz of hummingbird wings as they flew from flower to flower, sipping nectar. Yes, spring will be here soon. Finding no harm to the vines, Ruthie Rose turned and spotted curled bits of green, gray, and yellow lichen scattered like confetti across the damp ground. Last night's wind had loosened their grip from the bark of the swamp oaks and sent them flying. She stooped and collected a few, popping them into an apron pocket, intending to make pigments for painting later that day. Bybie sat quietly on the garden bench, wrapped securely in an old cloak, the fabric soft from age and faintly scented with wildflowers. Her round eyes followed Angela Rose, waltzing barefoot over the soggy ground. She danced to the melody of spring morning, bird song, frog chorus, and the drip, drip, drip of last night's rain falling from the tree branches. Angela Rose fluttered her wings, spun through the air, and landed effortlessly on her toes. She bent over a green shoot just emerging from the ground. Time to wake, she whispered, as she reached her hand out and lightly touched the plant before dancing away to the next. Bybie's eyes widened as two heart-shaped leaves and a tight green bud appeared on the plant stem. The bud slowly opened and a wee purple flower lifted its face to the sun. Angela Rose left a trail of violets blooming in the sun as she crossed the clearing. The little bug smiled. For a moment, Bybie forgot about her aching legs and wings and gently waved her antenna back and forth, mimicking Angela Rose's movements. Meanwhile, Maggie Rose headed to the garden, a woven basket slung over her arm. This early in the season, not much would be growing there, though the evergreen lemon thyme might offer up a few fragrant sprigs for pot of afternoon tea. Just before she reached the garden gate, a flicker of movement caught her eye. The first butterfly of the year. Maggie Rose watched the brown velvet wings of the morning cloak flutter as it went from tree trunk to tree trunk, sipping sap from damaged bark. The sight reminded her that it was time to collect sap from the maple trees and make some sweet syrup. I bet Ruthie Rose has the taps in her apron pocket. Oh! She exclaimed aloud as she tripped. Instantly, her wings caught the air, helping her maintain her balance. I need to pay more attention to where I'm walking, she said, turning around and looking back the way she had come. Strange, she hadn't seen anything on the ground but mud. Mud that now quivered. Ooh. That's the end of chapter 2. Okay. So, chapter 1 and chapter 2. Chapter 1 set up where Bybie the ladybug gets rescued, but there's a little hint that there's somebody out in the storm. Chapter 2, we got the fairies and they're outside, storm is over, and now excuse me, Maggie Rose trips over and there's something in the mud puddle. Chapter 3 is what I read about Wilson. That whole chapter where, he gets washed away in the flood. So you can go back and hear that in another author's video. Previous author's video, I should say. Okay. So that was a very exciting chapter. Lots going on in that chapter. It's very exciting. Yes, it's very exciting. Oh, and that whole part about the violets blooming, I went back and added that in. And also the part about Ruthie Rose's apron. I guess I'm reading too much. Because I felt there wasn't enough magical bits for the fairies. I didn't want to be strong on, like people waving their magic wands and poof, things are appearing, that kind of thing. No, their magic is like a subtle nature magic, right? It's a subtle green magic, and it's just whimsical and very lighthearted. Like Ruthie Rose can pull things out of numerous pockets. Like if she needs something, all of a sudden it's there in one of her pockets. And that's her magic, right? And with Maggie Rose, and this part will come up later on, her magic is in her baking, right? And that happens in another chapter. So each one gets highlighted with their magic. And let me go back. And then and then the part where Bybie's watching Angela Rose, right? She's the caring one. But she dances a lot. Yes, Angela dances a lot. But her dancing is magical. So when she bends down and touches that little green sprout that's just coming up out of the ground in the spring, it grows and the flower opens up. So it's very subtle magic. I didn't want to do the, here's my magic wand, poof, kind of magic. No, I wanted it to be a little bit different, okay? So, and like I said, so that's Ruthie Rose magic and Angela Rose's magic, and Maggie Rose's magic is in her baking, but we'll get more into that in the other chapter. So I'm skipping over Wilson here, and the next chapter is called Found, because it was like Storm, Stranger, Lost, and Found. So it's Storm, Stranger, Lost, and Found. Should I check the chat before I read? All right, let me check the chat before I read. Take a sip, Patty. Yes. Betty Boyle. Howdy, howdy, Betty. Yes, I can't see the chat when I'm reading, but I'm going back and checking it. Yes. Okay, so Esther's here. Esther, Annette, Betty Boyle. Everybody saying howdy. Oh, Annette loves the violets blooming. Oh, Linda likes it too. Take a sip, Patty. Lala, Lala. Thanks for popping in, Lala. I see you have a new video up yet. I haven't watched it though. No. I was going to do so much this afternoon. What did I do? Take a nap. Take a nap. So Lala's here. Thanks for popping in, Lala. Thank you very much. Howdy, friends. Too many people to type just general blanket howdies to everyone. Just say howdy, pass a little possum peeps. You're done, right? And you are done. Yes. Thank you. Thank you, everybody. So I'm going to sit for a few minutes. I'm going to go back and finish that chapter. Okay. So when I'm reading, I can't see the chat. So I'm going to take off and do a little bit of reading. Lala and Betty and Karen and Linda and Esty Marie. Okay. So I said it was storm, stranger, lost, found. So now we're on found. Did I? Oh, yes. You know what? I read this when I did Wilson's. Yes, because it starts off where Wilson whispered. He looked up at the three faces hovering over him. Who? He breathed as his eyes closed again. What is it? Wondered Maggie Rose, looking down. Oh, it's her, cried Angela Rose, clasping her hands together. Let's get it inside, Ruthie Rose said with quiet command, scooping Wilson gently into her arms. Okay, I read this. Okay. So this is in the other one where Ruthie Rose gets out her mortar and pestle and makes the salve to put on Wilson's bruises and cuts from being lost in the flood. And yes, I read all this. Oh, and I added a little magic to this too. Yes, where the secret gold dust puffs out, and sort of goes over, showers down below. Yeah, I added a little magic to that because things that come out of Ruthie Rose's pocket can be a little magical. Gentle magic, yes. Just subtle, gentle little bits of magic, yes. So they're putting the salve all over Wilson, and Bybee gives up his bed. Okay. And Wilson tells a story. I think I read this too. Yes. Where Wilson is recuperating. This is called healing. Okay. Wilson's wounds are on the men. And then, yes, they made him a covering for his mantle. And, Okay. So, because I read that all, I'm skipping over that now. And you just have to keep watching and rewatching all the author's tea to get the whole story put in order. Okay. Just go out and read the book. It'll be much easier. Go out and buy the book and read the book. It'll be much easier, right? I'm just trying to give you bits of the story and get you interested. Yes. Okay. So all this was going on. Remember, they were making all different kinds of shells, trying to get Wilson comfortable with different things, but nothing was working out. Anyway, back to Bybee. Bybee the little ladybug. Angela Rose, meanwhile, had grown increasingly concerned about Bybee. Maggie Rose fed her nourishing foods every day, but she wasn't growing. Bybee walked just fine using the typical beetle gait, three legs down, 3 legs in motion. The problem was she couldn't or wouldn't fly. Angela Rose rechecked her wings. Yes, there were a few scuff marks here and there, but no serious injuries, nothing to keep her from taking to the air. Maybe she just needs a little encouragement, suggested Maggie Rose. The next morning, Angela Rose held Bybee securely in her arms as she hovered high over the garden. Below her, Maggie Rose fluttered just above the ground. Are you sure about this? Angela Rose called down. Oh, she'll be fine. Once she's in the air, she'll fly again, answered Maggie Rose. Ready? Angela Rose looked doubtfully from her sister to the trembling bug. Ready, affirmed Maggie Rose. 1, 2, 3. Angela Rose let the little bug go. Bybee immediately squeezed her eyes shut. tucked in her legs and dropped like a stone right into Maggie Rose's waiting arms. Angela Rose gasped and flew to her sister on the ground. "She's fine," Maggie Rose said, gently handing the unharmed beetle back to her. "No, I don't believe so," Angela Rose said, quietly looking into Bibby's dull eyes. "Something is very wrong." So this little bit of the story is to get more of what's going on with Bybee. Yes, to give more of what's going on with Bybee. So she's healing and she's making friends with Wilson, but she's not thriving. She's not growing much. And she can walk around. But she can't or she won't fly. There seems to be nothing wrong with her wings. So again, Angela Rose is holding her in her arms and she's hovering high over the garden. Angela Rose is up here. Maggie Rose is down here. She's holding the bug. And she drops the bug thinking, because Maggie Rose thinks the bug is going to fly, right? Thinking that once she's falling through the air, she'll start flying. Nope. Drops like a stone right down to Maggie Rose. And Maggie Rose is like, "Oh, she's fine. She's not hurt. I caught her. Here she is." And Angela Rose, she's like, she's the one, she's the caregiver, right? She's the caregiver. She's like, "No, there's something wrong. Something's very wrong. She's trembling. She won't fly. There's something wrong." So now we're going on. Should we go on to the next chapter? Oh, we got 10 minutes. Let's see what's going on. Oh, let's see. Leanne's here. Howdy, Leanne. Howdy, Leanne. "I received your Happy Meal gift prize. Thank you so much." "Oh, you're welcome. I'm so glad it arrived there safely." Karen says, "Very well written." Thank you, Karen. Hi, Crafty Kitty. Hi, Crafty Kitty. Okay, so let me go down and I had a blue arrow, so I had to scroll. Lala says, "Please remember to like, share, and sub." Thank you, Lala. Thank you so much. Karen says, "Going to sleep, dear Potty. It's nearly 1 a.m. here in London. Good night to you all, beautiful souls." Oh, night, Karen. Sleep tight. Don't let the big bugs bite. Okay, Karen's going to bed. It's late there. Good night, sweet Karen. Loves ya, said Lala. Deidre, howdy. Now for Deidre's the other way with time zones. It's earlier at Deidre's house, right, Deidre? Because I'm East Coast and Deidre is... Are you Central Time? Mountain Time? How far over are you? I just know she's West. Yes, Deidre's West. Deidre's a long time. Awesome possum peep. Yes, she is. Deidre, she's been around forever. In a good way, Deidre, yes. Thank you. Yep, I'm 1 hour behind you. So she is Central Time. I knew she's 1 hour behind, so it's earlier. Poor little bug has PTSD. Yes, she's been traumatized. So in the story, what has to happen? Yes. She must be traumatized because of what she was going through right at the very beginning. Her experience during the storm and being trapped in that cup. She has post-storm traumatic stress syndrome. Yes, the storm really traumatized her. And so the fairies are trying to help her. Nothing's worked so far. They even tried that dramatic drop through the air, but that didn't work. But she's okay. Linda's Central too. Lala can relate to the PTSD. I know. I'm still traumatized for being in the hospital. That was so hard. Yeah, that was so hard. I'm trying to get over that for sure. Okay. So, should I read a little bit more? We have a couple minutes, right? All right. So, okay. plans. Okay, so that chapter is called Healing, but as we can see, nothing much was working for Wilson. Read that last week, and nothing much is really working for Bybee either. It's going to take them time. Yeah, it's going to take them time, and maybe a little help or something has to happen to get those two over their traumas. So we got two traumatic, two traumatic souls here that need to be healed. Bybee and Wilson, yes. Maybe they'll help each other. Maybe the fairies will help them. What happens in the story? A passel of possum peeps want to know. Okay, plans. Bybee snuggled up against Wilson as they sat together on the garden bench. The homeless snail and the beetle who couldn't fly spent long hours together, quietly sitting in the warm sun and breathing in fresh air. Before the storm, Wilson had been quite talkative. Ever since telling the fairy sisters of his unfortunate adventure, he had grown unusually quiet. Bybee never said a word. She communicated only with the movements of her antenna. So on this day, the two unlikely friends sat in a comfortable silence, watching the fairy sisters at work in the garden. Sip of tea needed. Okay. Chop, chop. Ruthie Rose vigorously hoed tiny rows in the rich, dark soil, her colorful scarf tied securely around her hair to keep it from falling into her eyes. She seems to have that problem. Maggie Rose slowly walked behind her, dropping tiny seeds into the ground with practiced care. As she worked, her voice filled the air with a growing song. In the beginning, we had the coming of spring song. And see, this is one of Maggie Rose's things, her songs, right? O seed, thy shell hold secrets worth, a garden's dream beneath the earth. With sun and rain and tender care, wilt thou break its soil and bloom fair. Now, her songs are ancient, ancient, ancient fairy songs. So they may sound a little different, yes. The speech and the rhyming and the words that are used in her songs, it's just very old-fashioned, okay? But it's meant to be that way because her songs are ancient fairy songs that she has learned, and she sings for a reason. Yeah, it's part of that, subtle magical thing that goes on. Yeah, there's not going to be a lot of songs, and each song is only 4 lines long. But the songs will appear throughout the series of the books. It might be hard for some people to read, maybe younger people, but yeah, I tried to not make them too hard. But saying things like "oh seed," right? "Oh seed" is a little bit different. And saying "thy," right? "Thy shall hold secrets worth, a garden's dream beneath the earth." Well, sun and rain and tender care. With sun and rain and tender care, will thou break its soil and bloom fair. So I added a little bit, but it seems to be, understandable enough. Let me know. It was up to Angela Rose to finish the morning's planting task. Following her 2 sisters, she knelt by each seed, whispering, "Time to grow." Delicately, she used her small spade to cover it with soil. Giving it a firm pat of assurance, she added, "No worries, you'll do just fine." At the end of each row, Angela Rose glanced over her shoulder and checked on the quiet pair sitting on the garden bench. She smiled, knowing that being outside will help restore both their bodies and minds. I love this part with Angela Rose. Following her 2 sisters, she knelt by each seed, whispering, "Time to grow." Delicately, she used her small spade to cover it with soil. Giving it a firm pat of assurance, she added, "No worries, you'll do just fine." I love that part. Okay. All right, let's see. What comes up next? Oh, there's a lot going on. Okay. So it's almost time to go. It's almost time to go. I might end it just there. Let me go back here. Mine is mostly the riots in Detroit when I was very young. Oh my. Oh, there's the bird clock. Oh, that can be traumatic. Esty Marie is saying hi to Leanne. Everybody saying howdy to everybody else. Well, I think that was a good reading. Okay, I'm going to write down what I did today. We did a wonderful reading, didn't we? Wonderful reading. We went back to chapter 1. And then we read, and that one's called Storms. And then we read chapter 2. And that one's called Stranger. And that's when Wilson shows up. And 3 is Found. And that's when they find Wilson. Oh no, I'm sorry. 3 is Lost. That's when Wilson gets lost. And 4 is Found. And that's when Wilson gets found. And 5, I think, is, I do have it written down, but not in this little book. It's at the beginning of the book. Plans. Okay. They're working in the garden, so we don't know what the plans are yet, because I only read the beginning of the chapter, where they're working out in the garden. So a little bit later, something happens, and they start making plans. So 5 is plans. Oh no, I left one out. 1 is healing. Okay. So let me go back to the beginning. I'll figure this out. I should know what my chapters are, right? Oh, I lost my page. I lost the entire page. Hello. There we go. All right. Okay, so the first one is Storm. Stranger. That's when Wilson shows up. Lost. Wilson's story. Found. Wilson's story. And then 5 is healing. Somewhat healing. Healing of bodies, but not of minds. Yes, that's what goes on. Healing of the bodies, but not of the mind. So 6, something exciting is going to happen in 6. Yes. Plans. Plans are going to happen. And I can't give you the names of the other chapters ahead of time because it kind of gives something away. Yes, kind of gives something away. But there's 12 chapters, and I think that's the final thing, 12 chapters. And before I came on live, I was reworking, well, not reworking, putting in the part I left out in chapter 11. And all I have to do is write the end of chapter 12, which is hard. I explained at the beginning because you have to kind of close all the loops and make sure everything gets resolved. But then there's going to be another book that follows up right away. So I got to open up a loop that won't get closed until the next book. So the end's going to take a little time. But meanwhile, I'm going to finish up 11. 12 has started. I just have to finish it. And I got to work on some sketches. Trish is going. Bye-bye, Trish. Thanks for popping in. Yes, thanks for popping in. Nice to chat with you, Trish, says Linda. This story has us intrigued. Have a great evening, everyone. Okay, so we talked about the subtle magic of the fairies. I won't be able to read this. I'm writing sloppy. Subtle magic of the fairies. And what else did we talk about? We talked about the healing of bodies, but not the minds. These are just scribble notes about what I'm doing at the T's. Yes, so when I come back, I know what I talked about last time. Okay, so we talked about all the chapters. I did reading. We talked about the chapters. I read 1 and 2 and 5 and the beginning of 6. And then I got to come back and start reading where Ruthie Rose comes in. Ruthie Rose comes in. That's where I have to start, when Ruthie Rose comes in with the big announcement about plans. So this will be for next time. Although next time we're having special guests. Oh, so for those of you who are popping in late, people popping in and out. Oh, Deidre says, I need to send you some fairy stuff possible. Oh, thank you, Deidre. Deidre's very thoughtful. She sends me Happy Mail every once in a while. Yes, for years. You're so kind, Deidre. Yes, you are. I always love any journaling that you do. Thank you, Deidre. Yes, I always put her things in my journal. Oh, so if you just popped in late, the big announcement, and she was here at the beginning, but she already told me ahead of time that she had to be somewhere this evening, so she wouldn't be in, but she did pop in for a minute. Christina with a CH. Yes. She's an author. She has written a dozen books, 12 or 13. Baker's dozen of books, yes. And she's going to come. We're going to do a side-by-side live. I'll be talking about this all week, so everybody knows to show up next Tuesday night at 7. Okay. And we're going to practice this ahead of time. We're going to do a side-by-side live. Hopefully, I'll work it out. Well, Lala's doing this with Lizzie. Or maybe Lala will help me. But I might just use the YouTube thing, and it's vertical. So I think it's easy. You just send them a link and they come in. But we're going to practice it, yes. And she's going to talk about the books that she wrote, where she gets the ideas for writing her books. And I think she's got a new book coming up. I told her not to mention it in the chat. Yes, so she could save that for the live. She's working on a new book. And yeah, and you'll be able to ask her questions. I'll be able to ask her questions. Yes, we're going to do a live side-by-side with the author of 12 or 13 books. I lost count. And one coming up. Yes. And it's going to be, it's going to be exciting. Yes. Yes, Deidre, we're going to have a lot of fun. We're going to have a lot of fun that night. Yes. And like I said, I can talk about the ideas for my books, but y'all know, y'all know it's Soggy Bottom. It's the fairies. It's all the critters that I have here. It's the ferns, and it's the trees that are here, and it's the honeysuckle vine that is here. It's my hummingbirds. It's like everything that's like shows up, and the lichen that falls off the tree. That's all here. That's all surrounding me every day. It's all Soggy Bottom. But then you add in the little bit magic of the fairies and some other things that'll be showing up. Yes, some other things. What's Christina's last name, please, so you can look up her books? Okay. Lizzie Brewer is the one who sends me the prompt to join. I'll go to StreamYard and follow the prompts, I think. Oh, so she is using StreamYard? I don't know. I might use StreamYard. I just might use the YouTube Live. All right, her name is back at the beginning, but let me put it in here. Lorenzen. I put it in there. Christina Lorenzen. Her books are on Amazon, and they're some, fluffy romantic books, but there's also other ones, and one about a sugar bowl, and there's one about dogs, and there's one about a Christmas coin, and I can't remember all of them. Yes. So she has a series of romance, and then some other books too. I have not read any of them, no, because we have just met recently, and I was just looking up her books today. I did look up a few the other day. Oh, she has a YouTube channel. Yeah, she has a YouTube channel. Oh, Lala says we couldn't figure out anything else but the StreamYard. So maybe the StreamYard is easier. I'll look into it. Thanks, Lala. I'll look into that. Yes. And then all right, so that'll probably take up an hour. I'm sure it'll go an hour. Yes, just chatting with her, because you know how that goes, and with people asking questions and things. Well, yeah, if you look up her books and you have questions about any of her books, that's a good idea. Yes, Annette, that's a good idea. You could ask her. Or if you have time, you could read one. You have a whole week. You have a whole week. WY, she said that you can have up to 10 people on StreamYard at once. Oh, wow. Wow. That's like a Zoom, right? That's like a Zoom session, having all these little boxes on the screen. Wow. Oh, we might do that one day, right? Wouldn't it be awesome to see everybody that's in chat? Wouldn't that be fun? We'll do that one of these days. Yes, we'll work this out. Maybe during a Friday live, I'll get like, 10 of the people who always come and send links, and we can have a whole bunch of people. I have to learn how to use StreamYard first, though. Well, I want to thank everybody for popping by this evening. It's been a lot of fun. Thank you for allowing me to read my story to you, focusing on some of what the fairies were doing, their subtle magic, and poor Ladybug Bibby's plight. Yes, her body's healing, but her mind is not yet. No. So a lot has to happen in the story with Bybee and Wilson. Yes. And now something's going to happen because we know this chapter is plans. Plans for what? You'll have to wait till next time to find out. Thank you, Annette. Thank you, Leanne. I'm going to say goodnight. Good night, Leanne. Good night, Annette. Good night, Deidre. Oh, thanks for popping in live, Deidre. Yes, so good to see you. And Lala. And I don't know who else is here. Esty Marie. Maybe Esty Marie is still here. And somebody went to bed. Karen went to bed, right? Karen went to bed. Oh, but if anybody else is still here, thank you for coming by this evening. And don't forget to tell, oh, thank you, Annette. She said, love your story. And good night, Patty and Peeps. And Esty Marie says, thank you, Possum Patty. This was fun. Oh, Becky's still here. Thank you, Becky, for popping in. Let me know you're still here so we can say good night to you, too. Yes. And Betty's still here. Night, night, Betty. Yes. Night, night, everyone. Good night. Sleep tight. Don't let the ladybugs bite. The bedbugs bite. Thank you all for coming. Yes. Hang up the phone now. Hang up the phone. Thank you so much. And don't forget to tell all your friends next Tuesday night, very special coming up. Yes, sir. Yes, ma'am. Oh, Jenny's still here. Jenny's still here. Sweet dreams past little possum Peeps, says Lala. I have to get up and walk around to turn it off because the camera's way over there. This is a special angle so you can see all the mess that's back in the corner. Those are all the projects that I'm working on this week. Yeah. Are you going to add a troll? Ooh. Am I going to add a troll? Ooh. Ooh, Linda wants to know, will there be a troll in the story? Well, will there be a troll in the story? I have a very rough sketch. Well, the story is 4 books because it's a series, but I'm going to publish them out one season at a time. So this is just spring. And there'll be summer, there'll be fall, there'll be winter, right? Whole year at Soggy Bottom. And I will say, Yippers. Of course there's a troll, said Lala. Linda says, blessings, everyone. Of course there's a troll. Okay. And a few other things too, but yeah, you might have to wait, Slowly everything will be revealed. Slowly, slowly, slowly. Takes a while to write these things. Thank you. Night, night. Loves you all. Okay, hang up now. Yes, I gotta get up. Go over there. You can talk to the trolls while I turn the camera off. Yes, you can. Bye-bye.